Hey, Goodbox here. So, I want to give my Madden 21 review. Now, I do two of these a year, one at the beginning of the year, one at the end of the year. Last year, you saw it, I put over 1,500 hours in the game. I've put over probably 50 or 60 hours into Madden 21 already. So this is going to be like the definitive review, the final, best review you're going to see online. All the other reviews, throw them out. They're all biased. They're all just horribly done. Absolute crap compared to what I'm going to do. So, with that said, before we get into our thoughts, and the biggest frustration being EA's lack of listening to the community over the years is the big theme, I want to get a word from our sponsor. Rock Bottom Coins is the #1 place to get your Madden 21 coins. If you make coins for my videos, sell them to Rock Bottom. If you're buying, use my code GUTBOX for 10% off. So obviously with that as the sponsor, there's no such thing as unbiased, and people have done pretty good jobs out there in their reviews. I was messing around, but I got your attention. I want to give my thoughts on this year's game and rate it. I'm going to rate each individual mode. I'm going to give a final score on it, but I do want to go through. It did get review bombed. This is Metacritic. The .4 user review score is right there. 65 on the meta score there. Positive mix, negative 500, 0. So obviously there was a very concerted effort to bomb it, but we've seen sports games get like 2 ratings for years. So the thing is, what's different is the reviewers, the professional reviewers, are also giving it mixed scores. 65, which is, I think, low, really low for a while. So it is interesting, right? Because this is the last of the generation. A lot of people are like, oh, it's not doing anything, and we're getting the new generation, Madden, which we saw has a lot improved visuals, but will improve gameplay. That's to be seen. But I want to go through and kind of give my thoughts on each individual mode. I want to rate it together and kind of go from worst and then kind of go into what they've done better before I wrap up with the final rating. So obviously, the worst thing that's going on right now, it was a global trending hashtag fix Madden franchise. Okay, the franchise mode hasn't really been improved, and the thing is, this franchise mode, if you're there, if you play franchise mode 5 years ago and you play it now, it's basically the same thing. So lack of innovation is a big problem, right? And I was recognizing this from years ago, and it's something that's been a problem ever since they moved to 360, right? So anybody that doesn't think that is wrong. Franchise mode from PS2 to 360, that was the biggest problem, and for 15 years they really haven't devoted a lot of resource to it, and a lot of people are blaming Ultimate Team now, but Ultimate Team's only 10, 11 years old. So there's been just a concerted effort around Madden and EA offices to kind of forget about it, and it's frustrating because we grew up with it. FIFA didn't, so we have fond memories. We want it, us boomers still playing it to play out and build our franchises, instead of just accepting Ultimate Team being the game mode, which Madden wanted to make that transition, and they haven't. Because I still think a lot of players, maybe even a majority of the players, still play franchise, and it's just frustrating, right? They still have online franchise, which is cool. Some other games don't. MLB The Show struggled with it. They took it out of their game. So online franchise is still fun. When you play this game with friends, it's fun. But I've been saying this for a few years now, and back in Madden 17, when I was saying the same thing 4 years ago, I was not well, people did not agree with that, right? They did not want to hear that. They did not believe me, but we're ahead of the meta. We know it, and it's been bad for, at that point, even a decade. So, franchise mode, out of 10, it's a 1. And a reason that a lot of people hate this game and is getting review bombed is because franchise hasn't improved. So, EA, listen to us when we say fix it. And you have, right? Sean Grady came out, who's the lead of Madden, or just about, and said, hey, we're listening to you. They put out a blog about the things they're looking at changing. I really hope they focus on that, all right? I really hope they focus on franchise. And with that said, face of the franchise, this right here. Now, I think it's a fine end product, but I think it's absolutely horrible for Madden, right? If a studio put this out as a game, I don't think anybody would buy it. I don't think anybody would really be interested in it. Looking through the story, I watched through it, I've played through long shot, all that stuff. It's not good, right? Okay, it's fine, but it's not good for Madden. Take all of those resources, and there's a ton that go into this, and put it into that. That could have been a lot cooler. My finger went off the screen, and put it into that. Get rid of this. Literally take all these people and put them there. Classic franchise. Bad? Good. Listen to your community, please. Please. I beg you, EA. That's the one thing we want. Okay, please. All right, I'm done with that. I'm not gonna say that anymore. Face of the franchise was not good this year. Was not good the previous year. Hasn't been good. And hasn't been good for the game. I mean, it's been okay time, we'll just say. All right, so face of the franchise, I'm giving it a 0, but it's worth 0% of this review. So even though it's worthless to me, it's also worthless to the total game product. It's like 2 hours of fucking gameplay. It's stupid. All right, graphics. Basically unchanged from last year. Whatever. We're waiting for next gen for graphics. Not really going to rate this game on graphics. Don't really play this game for graphics. If I wanted a good graphics, I'd, I don't know, go outside. But I'm not into going outside, all right? I prefer staying in front of my computer screen and monitor and playing football. So we'll wait till next year. I'm just going to hand wave graphics off this review. Don't really care that much. Announcer sound. I turn that shit off. Their soundtrack is fucking horrible. They got like 2 good songs out of the 17, and it's all one genre. Right? Does the old Madden soundtracks, like the absolutely beloved old Madden soundtracks, mean nothing to you? They're going out and get people to like fucking write custom songs. Just pay for good songs already. Don't ask for people to write some generic ass rap shit, right? Pay Kanye. Pay Jay-Z. Just use one. Just use Big Pimpin', okay? All right, it's not that hard. Go back to the old stuff. Find yourself another Andrew WK. Find music that's already good and pay for that. Don't have people write the music that will turn out mixed, okay? Please, stop. Okay, gameplay. As I move up in the things that are from shit, as I move up the scale. I think gameplay is a big step up over 20. Anybody who says it's not is wrong. Gameplay, the meta right now, and we'll see what happens. Everybody ends up copying the pros, so we'll see what they end up running in the tournament. That could. I already know some glitches in this game that they're gonna start taking over. Gameplay is a step up, okay? And I say this at the start of every year. I'm like, if they just patch these few things, and this year they don't really need to change much in the meta. They need to fix the bugs. Whereas in previous years they needed to fix the meta. The meta I think right now is fine, and I don't want them to touch or tune anything in the meta at all for at least a month plus. I want them to fix the bugs and focus on those first before you tune anything. 100%. If they tune these bugs, which I'll go through the issues at the end, the major bugs that I've seen. I'm gonna do a chunk at the end. Before we get to the overall review final. But I think zone drops, that changed. That was such a good idea. I gotta praise the team for the zone drop. Like, whoever thought of that deserves a raise, right? Give that person a raise. Take it from the person that made the MUP menus change, okay? So take that person's money, give it to the zone drop guy or gal. X factors and superstar abilities, I don't think they're actually needed anymore. Like, I'm fine with them. They make players like exciting. Last year I was fine with them. This year I'm just like, this game is fine without him. I played a little bit without him. I'm like, I actually don't mind him, right? Escape artist says, this year, just use regular Lamar. I don't mind. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see as the game goes along, but I just don't see the need for him. The only thing is, like, the pass rush is kind of weak without him. But 21, 100% best Madden I've seen in a while with this meta, everything. Which is, I mean, not that high of a bar to climb over, to be fair. But good job. Good job. Because both man and zone are used on D. You basically, every single offensive formation is in use right now, right? I go against games, like, it's a majority, a lot of people are running bunch and kind of compression sets. Bunch, I see some Arizona cluster or whatnot. But then I see some trips, I see some single back, I see some I form, split close. It's so good. This is the best Madden online gameplay in a while, and it's overshadowed by so many other shitty things that they refuse to fix, and they just focus on the wrong things. So there's the biggest problem with the gameplay though are the bugs. So if they can work out the bugs, which I'll get to at the end, then it's gonna be better. So let's move on. Superstar KO. I almost feel like it should be retired. I gotta get out of the way of it. I think Superstar KO was like 1.0 of the Yard. The Yard is so good, okay? Superstar KO, it was a good try. I mean, it was fun last year, but I think the best gameplay of that kind of style gameplay is in the Yard. I almost think we're almost to a point of mode bloat. Whereas, like, if next year Superstar KO goes away, some people will be sad. But I think if you keep iterating the Yard, which I'll get to in a second, I don't think anybody's gonna miss this, right? I also think salary cap should probably go away now that you're not doing your competitive tournaments in it. But yes, I Superstar KO, it's fine. I don't see myself playing that this year, especially with the Yard in the game. And again, I'll circle to the yard. So, Superstar KO, I'm going to kind of lump it in with the yard in the final review. But, okay. Mutt, my main game mode. Ultimate Team. It is sadly worse than last year so far. Right? I know it's kind of like a crazy opinion for someone who's put so much time and effort into it. But what I've seen so far is no innovation, actually steps backwards. Right? Steps backwards in the compare screen, the card art. Like I can't even read these guys' names. They're like, oh, we put a big spot there for the so we can put the chemistries and stuff. I can't even fucking tell the chemistries from this distance. Right? I can't tell what's on those things. What was the point of these screens? It's backwards. No sense whatsoever. Right? It's still hieroglyphics. And they're still this small. They're super tiny. I don't know. Like, I can't even read Travis Frederick's first name. I can see Frederick. If I didn't know the center for the Cowboys, is it Wavis? Is his first name Wavis Frederick? What? This person should get their salary taken away and given to the zone drop guy. And then the compare tool. Right? I select this guy. Remember when I could compare him with like triangle? Remember? I know it's small, but like card art's ugly. This looks terrible. The sliding McDonald's window thing's terrible. I mean, and then your first promo's a sets within sets nesting doll promo like we've always had. I'm excited about the Legends. Don't get me wrong. But the way you ended last year, you got no favors with the community, and I'm disappointed. The Mutt Master stinks. It's the same boring ass stat mission grind they've had the last 3 years that we complain about. You still have us on the hamster wheel of daily missions. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. No innovation and actually going backwards. Mutt squads, you still charge for them. Makes no sense to me. That should be like a very casual game mode of just drafting a team and playing. Some reason they still charge for that shit. Salary cap, like I said, should probably go away now that the competitive isn't in there. But it might be a decent way of making coins. The leaderboard is filled with half bots on PlayStation. Literally people glitching your game out. While Ultimate Team has a ton of potential, I'm not a fan. Last year I rated 8 to start. This year I'm rating a 6. You're going to have to house rules me. You're going to have to fix some of those bugs. You got rid of the menu leg. Thank you. But you're going to have to start coming out with some innovative shit, some different shit, instead of the same thing all year. All right? I'm very disappointed with how Ultimate Team started. Okay? Next up, the Yard. The best addition to this year. Okay? Not even close. The Yard is phenomenal. The only issue is EA is running it. I tried to play the Yard with Victionary and Texas, 2 other YouTubers, and Texas was blue screening. My game was freezing. Vic kept searching. His was fine. But we couldn't even do it. We tried for 2 hours, couldn't get in. The Yard, though, outside of that, phenomenal. I think if they can keep it up, if they can go the Fortnite way, if they really start pushing out a lot of different ways of, as the kids say, swagging out your character, a lot of new, I think most of the gaming community is fine with these sort of transactions to pay for things. If you can make some sort of like neighborhood or some sort of house that you pimp out with some of your trophies, if you can really kind of delve into a lot of that stuff on your character and go more park-esque, that kind of stuff, there's a lot of things you can do with that. But I think the Yard's in a great place. I like the gameplay. It's just frustrating some of the glitches that you face between, balls going through your guys' hands. Like I said, the desyncs, disconnects. I really think the Yard has major potential for the franchise, for the future of this franchise. Huge fan of it. Huge fan of it. Huge fan of it. That for me, I'm going to give it a good final review, as you can tell. All right. Great job on the Yard this year. Keep it up. Just don't forget about it like you've forgotten about all your other game modes that you made and then went on to the next new cool thing. If you can keep iterating on that, I love the Yard. Okay? I'm going to go through the issues right before we give a final score. So here we go. Issues. Servers. Menu lag was fixed, which is great, but there is still a little bit of game lag and button input. The kick meter's terrible. Yeah, I don't know why it like disappears and then it like jumps at times too. I see some frame rate drops. The Dallas Cowboy jersey issue still hasn't been fixed, where if you're wearing dark Cowboys jerseys, you'll go against the other guy wearing dark. 4 years running. EA, 4 years running. The run game, defensive line has no push. They just get pushed back only. Every single defensive lineman will start a yard off the line of scrimmage on a dive. Terrible. Really, the only way to stop the run is to shoot a gap. Right? There's no actual like stack the box of 9 guys, you can stop the run. Even with like Lawrence Taylor, the best players all time, they'll still get hooked. I mean, hooked's not as bad as last year. They did a good job fixing that up, but like they'll still get pushed, and it's frustrating when the holes are wide open. We're like, wait, that guy's like 350 pounds. He wouldn't get pushed like that. Fields, like other things, fields don't have markers sometimes. Crazy. Like in the yard, the jerseys are very similar, which is frustrating. It's hard to see the ball in the FOB yard, I've noticed. Dives are too powerful in the run game, like I talked about. Desyncs. I've had 3 desyncs in 4 games when I first started picking this up. There's the flashbang play where the play will just go bright white for a play and then go back to normal. So like you're basically playing flashbanged. I didn't realize they were getting Call of Duty in here, aka surprise snow day. Contains still don't contain well enough. That's an absolute bug in my opinion. Ball goes through users like I talked about. SWAT is super ineffective this year. You might as well just be swatting at a bug in the air because the guy's going to get the ball and he's just going to score a touchdown on you. You're not even going to try for it. Too many drop picks. But it is early in the game. We have lower catching, but even in regs, they drop the ball a lot. Body position isn't as effective this year as it was last year. That's frustrating. Wide receivers don't animate or try sometimes with the predetermined pick animations. You get bad animations sometimes on the ball when you're trying to go for it. That's frustrating. When your opponent gets a good one. Squads, the O coordinator issue, where if you try to like pass out a shotgun, you just won't play it, and your opponent has to play, or your teammate has to play quarterback. So squads is basically unplayable. Jet sweep single back causes the ball warp to the wide receiver. Wide receiver switch with guards on some plays. Guards, I've seen guards having to snap the ball, and it's like a glitch in the game where you can't run a play then. You can scrape players with the defense, like linebackers, and then the defensive lineman disengage and shed to the quarterback. People can flip glitch offsides forever to grief people. Like, so, and then I talked about the leaderboards basically being all bot accounts, desyncing people, and there's like 50 of the top 100 like that on PS4. Imagine how many are off the leaderboards. So, like, these are the glitches why people hate EA, right? The lack of innovation, the lack of change of franchise mode, ultimate team. This is why we have a problem with this game. I just want them to listen to these changes. Don't do face of the franchise anymore. Please, please get rid of that and use those resources to classic franchise. Use those resources to gameplay, ultimate team. The stuff that the player base wants. Please, 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 please. Okay, so with that said, let me give my final ratings. Obviously, it's not a 0 game, okay? Those people that put it as a 0 game, they're dumb. They got their agendas. It's not truly a 0. I've played way worse games than this. This is actually a decent game. With all that said, with all the complaining out of the way, it's actually a pretty good game. I wouldn't put this much time into it if I didn't absolutely love it, right? But it's like a child we want to succeed. We want you to listen to us. We want you to grow. It is honestly, truly like raising a child. Please listen to us. Listen to the community. If all you do is listen, and you got to listen to the right voices too. You can't just listen to everybody, because I know they like to take strawmen. They like to take people that rage tweet them. They're like, oh, should I listen to this person about this specific thing? No, please listen to the rational voices. And I know I rage a lot, but I try to be rational with my thoughts. I try to be rational with my suggestions. Okay, so final ratings. If you can listen to fixed franchise mode, people do that. Listen to a lot of us. All right, franchise out of 10, I gave it a 1. Graphics, because I don't really care that they're not improved, I'm giving it a 7, which is rating 5% out of 100. It's a 5% rating. I give it a 7. All right. Gameplay, it's the highest thing on my list. 40% of my final rating. I'm giving gameplay a 7. I think gameplay is a huge step up from 20 with where it's at now. We'll wait to see what the glitches take over, of course. But I'm giving it a 7. And it would be higher if we didn't have those glitches, right? If Pursuit wasn't fucked up. I should have added Pursuit to my glitch list. Yeah, let me add that right now. But anyways, gameplay, 7 out of 10. Mutt, 6. Mutt would be an 8 if they could just see some innovation out of it. And I think it'd be even higher with more, right? The legends that they're bringing in are great. I'm excited for future promos. I'm disappointed with what they said about Boss Legends, and it's not actual limited time legends. They're just the actual regular legends, and we're only getting 2 a weekend now. I want to wait till weekly content before I can give that too much a grade. But what I've seen so far is a 6 because I haven't been impressed. Okay, we'll see though. They have not earned our trust based off what happened in the spring and the summer in MUT 20. So that's why it is lower than I would have given it otherwise. I would have probably given it an 8 otherwise. But that was 35% of my final review. Face of the franchise, 0% of my final review. Also got a 0, so you lucked out there, EA, or else, you know, your overall rating would have gone down. The Yard Superstar KO, 10% of my final grading. I'm going to give it a 9. The only reason it's not a 10, the only reason is because of the desyncs, the blue screens, the freezing, and that's basically it. That's my problem with the Yard. It's not being able to play it. And if your problem with the game is you can't play it, that's kind of like the biggest problem, but it's also an okay fixable one, hopefully. Superstar KO is kind of mixed in there, and I guess they forgot about it. I don't give a shit about Superstar KO this year. Overall score, when we add those together mathematically, 0.1 plus 0.35 plus 2.8 plus 2.1 plus 0.9, which are those ratings times their rates. And I'm going to give it a final 6.25 out of 10. Very disappointed in MUT and franchise. Those are the biggest things that need to improve. And the thing is, like, I think MUT will improve. I was very down on MUT. And I don't know if I should be. But we'll see if they can impress me. They'll see if they can win us back. Because you lost a lot of hardcore. So that's it. 6.25 out of 10. Weird because I'm oddly close to the Metascore. Critic reviews are pretty close to what I gave them. Pretty darn close. Huh. There it is. Your official review for Madden 21. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching Call to Action. See you tomorrow.